A very warm welcome back to AM News. Now, world-renowned French economist, academic, researcher, author, columnist and public intellectual Professor Thomas Piketty last night accepted an honorary doctoral degree in economics from the University of Johannesburg. Now, the university's Faculty of Economic and Financial Sciences conferred the honorary doctoral degree on Professor Piketty in acknowledgement of his contributions to knowledge concerning issues of inequality and poverty. Well, Professor Piketty will also deliver the 13th Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture, which was hosted by UJ in partnership with the Nelson Mandela Foundation. But for more on this, we're now joined in studio by the university's Deputy Vice-Chancellor, and that's Professor Tshilidzi Marwala. Professor, thank you so much for your time this morning. Very welcome. Good morning.
No, good morning. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Now, you are going to have, if I could say, economic royalty amongst you this very day through Professor Thomas Piketty at the University of Johannesburg. But before we get into what will be happening today, take me through some of his contribution, as I mentioned in my intro, towards poverty and inequality.
Professor Piketty's area of expertise is inequality and poverty and how it impacts in the economy. Yeah. As you understand, inequality actually has been proven to stifle economic growth. So Professor Piketty has analyzed huge amount of data which goes for 100 years and has been able to identify mechanisms in which we can be able to deal with the problem of inequality. One of the proposals that he puts forward is the proposal of wealth tax. So if you can tax people with wealth, you can be able to deal with the issue of inequality. The second aspect of his work is to identify that if we go at this trajectory, only people with capital or wealth are going to be able to sustain economic activities. And as you can imagine, these are few people. It's not many, so a great deal of people will be excluded from the economy. So that is what Thomas Piketty has actually done in his work.
And the University of Johannesburg has taken it upon itself to honor him with an honorary doctoral degree. But how important was the university to be a part of this momentous time?
Absolutely important. It is important because as a university, we are very concerned about inequality. We think as a country we need to deal with the issue of inequality. And when we have somebody who has actually spent a great deal of time dealing with the issue of inequality and how to deal with it, it is in line with our thinking, it's in line with our value to ensure that we bring a better economic activity for the people of South Africa and beyond.
And take me through this process of awarding a doctoral degree in the university, Professor, and especially on how you came to this decision as well.
Absolutely. What we do, once a proposal has been made to award an honorary doctorate, we have processes within the university, and these processes will involve the Senate of the university, which is a body that is composed of full professors of the University of Johannesburg. And then once it passes that milestone, it goes to the University Council. The University Council is the highest decision-making body at the University of Johannesburg. And I have to state that in case of Professor Thomas Piketty, his honorary doctorate was supported by both the Senate and council.
Yeah. And I understand that, some of what he stands for sort of complements the university's guiding principles. How so?
Absolutely. I mean, we as a university believe in doing research that actually has an impact in society. We are obviously happy with research that is for its own sake. But we also feel very strongly that research also has to serve a purpose in society. And what Thomas Piketty actually does, he does research that actually has impact in society, and that is in line with our views. Secondly, doing research work of highest academic standard is something that we as the University of Johannesburg stand for, and Professor Piketty obviously has done fantastic work in the area of inequality.
Now, speaking of his work and his contribution, I understand that he'll also be addressing the 13th Annual Nelson Mandela Lecture held at the University of Johannesburg at your Soweto campus. How important is this lecture, and what can we expect to be some of the issues that he'll touch on?
Well, it is very, very important. It will be live on TV. What is even more important is that it's not only going to be the community of the University of Johannesburg, because in fact, yesterday, Professor Piketty addressed the University of Johannesburg staff members and students. So today is really a South African event where he is going to be addressing us as the University of Johannesburg, but the South African general public. What we would like to see out of this lecture is that as a country we start taking the issue of inequality very, very seriously. We start engaging some of the ideas that he has proposed to deal with inequality and see whether they actually meet the local demands. So because solutions obviously have to be in line with a local situation. Yeah. So as academics and researchers, we need to make sure that we adapt some of the proposals that he has put forward so that we can be able to deal with the issue of inequality in South Africa. And
you did mention that he also addressed staff members from the University of Johannesburg as well as the students from UJ. As academics, as students that are currently studying in economics right now, what are you hoping them to draw from Professor Piketty?
Firstly, they should draw the fact that we have to be thorough in our research work, the same way that he has been thorough when he wrote his book, Capital in the 21st Century. Secondly, that research must not just stay in the labs. You have to get the public engaged in what we are doing. And I hope our academics and students are going to more and more begin to have a conversation with society about what they are doing, the relevance of what they are doing, and engaging the public in making them more aware of what is happening in our labs. And thirdly, to understand the linkages between society, academic institutions, and government. Because the problems that we are facing as a country are not going to be solved by one sector. It's not going to be government alone. It's not going to be academia alone. All of us have to be part of the solution to the problems that are confronting us. And these are daunting problems.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Professor Tshilidzi Marwala. Thank you for joining us this morning.